But in between, if I'm going to take a look on this screen, and if I'm going to take a look on that screen, I'm going to see RacingFuel Simulators and high-end simulators. And I guess it would be quite interesting how much leather and how much fur and how much beautiful colors if you're going to produce high-end simulators in pink or something like that. And I guess
we produce one in gold.
you produce one in gold. Okay. It will be quite interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We do need one of the microphones. Where are they? Oh, at the sofa. Sorry. I'm going to pick it up over there. Philipp, this is yours. And I'm really looking forward to the high-end simulators you're going to present us now. Ladies and gentlemen, Philipp Schallenberg from RacingFuel Simulators.
Thank you very much. Thank you also to the staff organizing this, Thomas, you and your guys, because actually we're visiting also the Sim Racing Expo, which Danny organizes. So it's actually a good point to follow after this presentation. We're producing high-end simulators, as you've already taught the viewers. And it's, of course, the opposite of what Danny talked. Of course, we need to have a reach to people who cannot afford high-end simulators. But high-end simulators are often a good tool for that. So basically, you can do much marketing. You can do some PR stuff. You can go to the racetracks. So it makes the whole sport more visible, not just in the living room. And that's what we do. So we mostly produce them for private users, but also B2B. And I just want to show you how you can use this concept, how you can use high-end simulators for your company, but also as a private user. And I'm also going to show you the difference to other ready-to-race packages, so that you basically can really evaluate the industry and you can evaluate the market. Pretty exciting. And I just have maybe one question to the viewers. Danny, what do you think are customers for high-end simulators? Racing drivers? Yeah, petrol heads, correct. Okay, that's actually mostly true. So of course, often with high-end simulators, you think it's Nico Müller on the right. Of course, he's got our simulator. He's racing also the RCCO EX race, which is organized by the guys here. And he uses it, but mostly the customers are actually petrol heads and people who are driving on the racetracks, who are amateur drivers, who are ambitious drivers, who have many customers using it really for the race preparation, because most important value in society is time. Time is important. And that's very good for the preparation, right? And they save a lot of time by buying a ready-to-go simulator, which feels very good, so they feel very prepared for the racetrack. And often, when I talk from marketing perspective, people really, they buy this from mouth propaganda. They need to test the simulator. It's really complex, as Danny said, to basically show simulators to the public. You really need to create a space for it, like a Sim Racing Expo. We are visiting many racetracks so people can drive it. And that's basically what we do. And so also those drivers, they have more demands. If you compare it, for example, outside, we have the Rennsport simulators. They're really great simulators. They have 90% or 95% performance from our simulators. But of course, it has different equipment and there's no, for example, they're less focused on the service or other producers for those simulators. And with high-end simulators, people, they want the service, they want the support, which is actually the most important point here, which I want to make. And they also want to have some ergonomic features. So those are the additional points which are added to the very important value of a good driving feeling, which makes fun. And yeah, so that's what we want to transport. That's what other brands want to transport, driving fun, which is the most important point, and adding all those values. I just want to, I don't need to ask you guys, we have talked very long today about also some components here in sim racing, like Fanatec, Sim Steering, Heusinkfeld, Logitech. And actually, which components count? For high-end simulators, you basically, it's a huge difference to the simulators you see in MediaMarkt. It's a huge difference to simulators you see on some racing centers. It's basically you're using for your rig, you mostly don't use an aluminum rig. Many manufacturers, they also use a metal construction, a custom metal construction where they can add their own parts. Mostly as a steering engine, they use SimSteering 2 from Leo Botner or SimoCube 2. As a steering wheel, for example, we are producing our own steering wheels. Also with Meyer Motorsport, a German company which is producing steering wheels for the real racing cars. And Heusinkfeld Ultimate Plus is the standard in the high-end simulator. There are also other standards like hydraulic pedals, but of course this is a bit more difficult. It gives you some kind of better feedback, but it's a bit more difficult. And yeah, so we have the budget solution, do-it-yourself solution with sports solution where you can really customize according to your budget. Then we have some ready-to-race simulators, sports solutions mostly, and then we also have a bit better ready-to-race simulators with high-end solution. And that's a big advantage in sim racing. You can really configure your own simulator, but yeah, it's really hard to grasp as a newbie. So this is a task, of course, with the ADS Sim Racing Expo and other brands to really educate people about that so people know where to buy, how to buy. And that is not actually really difficult to, run a system. Yeah. So with the market, and I'm just staying with high-end simulators, and the guys and ladies being here at BILSTER BERG, they already tried our simulator. If not, you can try it out. Our simulator, for example, is more static. There are other simulators who have big motion systems, and other simulators who are again static, because simulators, they're costing 20,000 plus of euros in the high-end segment with the equipment I mentioned before. And the big problem in this market is that simulator companies are very national. So with the budget, with the sports side, you can go very easily internationally because you just send it out and people can build the simulator together on their own. With our simulator, for example, of course, it's nationally limited because you are manufacturing it first, and then if you're successful, you start building up a small series production. And that's actually the situation in Europe. So I'm really sorry if I'm not showing all manufacturers, but this is just an example of the existing manufacturers we have. And basically Porsche or BMW, Audi, or anybody else, they're using different simulator brands because they have different activities in different countries, right? And that's the current situation, which, and I will show you later, as RacingFuel, we want to attack, and I think in the market we will see a huge development there in the future, in the next 4 years, because brands starts to establish themselves. They have grown up. Now they know who are their customers, and also there's much more interest in the motorsports market, in the B2B market, and other use cases like hospital or research, which I will show you later. Yeah, so we are right now in an establishment phase, while of course, like Dani explained, the global new entrants come into the market from esports. It's something really improving the sports and budget side. Yeah. So here we are. I hope you have understood something. If you have any questions, of course, if you don't understand this topic, you can ask me later. That's why I'm here, to somehow show it. And I also will show some images of high-end simulators or some videos. But it's like a lesson today I want to give you, because there are many people from companies who really want to learn about the simulators. And now there's a small use case, a business case from us, RacingFuel Simulators. I can just go forward one step because maybe the people in the online, they have not seen the simulator so far. We are building high-end simulators, as I've told. The white points you see, those are all the standards in those high-end simulators. They need to have a good steering base from SimSteering 2, a good carbon wheel. very good pedals like Hosingfeld, a strong PC, which is all clear and a good frame. We just added additionally a unique design, so you can really, how to say, customize it, as you can see on the top right, with some own paintings and own logos. So on the bottom, if you really want to go classic, you can go classic 100%. Then we have the traction loss module. So many high-end simulators have different motion modules, as I've explained before. And those motion modules, this is also a problem in the industry, that you don't have a fixed standard. Basically, everybody produces his own standard. And we produce traction loss modules, so the simulator moves on the rear, which is a good budget solution also, so you don't need to invest 10,000 or 20 or 30,000 into a big motion system. Yeah. Yeah, and the last point, basically, our simulator is really pretty small, as you can see there with the picture in the living room. It's compact. You can move it up, you can move it on the floor. And yeah, when we arrived today here at the stand, we built it up within 5 minutes. So we just put on the monitor and turn it on, and that's it. And that's something which is very good for B2B reasons. You can go on racetracks, you can go on expos. You can, for me, it's also easier because I don't need to build up the simulator for 5 hours in the living room. I just need half an hour. So that's a big advantage we have. Yeah, and we basically started to develop this simulator. We have a very good support team which care about customers. So we also come around each year and support them, control it. Actually, there's not so much to do because it's really reliable. I have to say that's something maybe about Switzerland, because people always are very, very detailed. It's sometimes a bit slow in the company, but if it's done, then it's really, really, 100%. Yeah, and the next two things are basically something which we are really additionally proud of. In the last 3 years, we have developed during COVID or even before, because we have been running our own sim racing center all the time to train racing drivers, because we are just from racing, we're not from sim racing. And there came around a guy who said, hey, I want this too. I want to make company events above my company. And we said, okay, in 2019, we said, okay, let's do that. And yeah, now we have built 15 centers throughout Europe, 10 in Switzerland, 5 more in the EU, also with the Michael Schumacher kart center in Kerpen. And it's so much fun because people are happy. We are running very many company events. And yeah, it's actually a good chance also to show sim racing to the public. Yeah, people get in contact with sim racing very easily. In Switzerland, we have every 20 to 50 kilometers another center. Many people do company events, and we can explain them what sim racing is about. So it's one of the, in my opinion, second biggest promoters of sim racing next to the online area. Yeah. Third point, sim racing series. So it was also just a small idea, but now it has grown into something very important in Switzerland. So we're running an own sim racing series throughout the centers with national brands like Porsche Switzerland. Because we wanted just to push sim racing. And right now we are connected with the local ASN, so with Autosport Schweiz, for example, DMSB in Germany. This could also be a future, or which is already in development with the online sim racing world. We thought it's a good mover because you can build trust, you can build credibility, you can create PR, you can, motivate the drivers a bit more. And that's why we created the sim racing series, and now it's a big success. I will show you later a video. Yeah, and as I've told you before, with the sim racing center, it's really driving fun. Everybody enjoys. So if you sit in the simulator, I'm seeing all the faces. They're very happy about it, driving it. They all have a success story, which is really important. This is why I just want to explain to you here in this panel that high-end simulators actually have this exact advantage. So if you sit into it, you directly feel what's going on. If you put people into a budget simulator, it's nice. You can put in more simulators into center, but you will always have some kind of problem that people don't feel it and really value sim racing as a game. But actually, with high-end simulators, you have basically much more possibilities. Yeah. In the racing centers, we're running booking systems. We have our own control software, and people, yeah, there are multiple use cases. So you can use it for ticket drives, like a go-kart track, but you can also use it for company events, which is basically the most important point here I want to make. They're running being run many company events in those centers, and people who are not into motorsports and not into racing, they get in contact and with the sports, and afterwards, yeah, they buy simulators for home usage, if it's budget sports or high end, which is pretty great, and which is super. For if you're interested into B2B, it's a great return on invest because how to say. As I said before, of course, the market is very widespread with many simulator companies, different pricing models. With our simulators, we are a bit more on the fair side. We have a fair value. The simulators are not, how to say, they're not stopping working, so they're all the time working great, which is good. And with the centers together, we try to, how to say, offer people, customers, all those championships. So we are also working together between the centers, which is super as a startup, as we have been like 5 years ago. And now we are a company, and can expand. That's also an image. Like I didn't find something else, but we have so many. I mean, we have great images from the centers. People enjoying driving, being together on the sim, experiencing. And yeah, it's a good thing. The sport, it's the third point I wanted to explain you. We're using it especially for PR. So as a company, you cannot just rely on your marketing expenses. It's also something for us important to build trust with the drivers, to also push the industry, the sim racing industry. And as I've explained with the sim racing series, they are, how to say, it's a good use case, and we are also organizing World Championship events in our lounges, like the TCR Virtual Global Series. We are the team partner of NIANCO esports, which is the team of Nico Müller, and we are also sometimes supporting, for example, at the Sim Racing Expo, some other teams like Williams Esports with a simulator. So there's always something going on, and we're just growing the sport. Yeah, diversification is also a topic, which not many people know from us. We are building also simulators for universities, for studies, which is something new. Basically, we do it since 2019, and we collect much experience in this area right now. And it's also an emerging market for high-end simulators. Also, other high-end producers, they're using this to build more simulators. But for us, it's just really interesting to see what's possible. And we're working together with the Würzburger Institute for Driving Research. Yeah, in the end, as you see, there's so much going on, and we always have content. We are creating in the race centers. We have so many championships. We have the simulator. We have the World X, for example. We have the Klausen race. When I just woke up this morning, I saw on my phone in the national newspaper. It's called Blick. It's like Bild in Germany. We just saw an article about the official Klausen race. So there's 100 years of Klausen. This year is an anniversary from Formula 1 times back ago. And this year, basically, we said, okay, let's create a digital version of the track, and basically make a competition on the exact day 100 years later. That's what we do, and now it's in the newspaper. And I mean, what better advertisement can you have in sim racing? And also normal people read this, and I think there's also more opportunity here in Germany and other countries to really push this topic. Yeah, I mean, story comes in the end. I didn't want it to show it in the beginning because it's a big story. But I explained to you everything. We first built the simulator, tested it in the market. When it was basically 100% reliable, we started rolling out the centers in 2019. During COVID or before COVID, and during COVID, many centers were opened, which was risky, but it worked out great. And next year, or this year, we're going to the Sim Expo in Nuremberg, show the device to the public, and I hope you can visit it, or you will visit it. It will be a great show for sure. So yeah, that's actually the presentation, and everything about high-end simulators. If you have any questions, for sure, you can ask.
I don't know if I really have. Oh, I have some questions. Of course.
About the leather.
Yeah, about the leather.
Yeah.
Of course. And if it was real gold or if it's just painted gold.
It was foiled gold. Foiled gold. So
yeah,
we have foiling. So we have foiling.
But it's much more expensive due to the fact you have to down. You have to drop it to a tenth of a millimeter or something like that. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was Supercar Blondie who get that one.
Yeah, Supercar Blondie, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have also carbon simulator.
Okay.
We made one full of carbon.
Okay.
And I mean, with painting options, I just wanted to add, there's option to paint it with a hand. So we have a hand painter who's painting your idea by hand. You can foil it, or you can just make like one color. So it's like,
I saw it on the last picture that you had one of the simulators with Niki Lauda. Did you ever try one of those from yours?
To drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. We're driving every simulator. We're like running a 24-hour test.
Yeah.
It's not like we're driving it as a team 24 hours.
I guess, was Niki Lauda the one who, or was it just named Niki Lauda?
It's named Niki Lauda. So we have many customers who are very fans of different brands, and we can fulfill this dream.
The last time when we had not a summit, but we had the 24-hour RCCO race, a slot car race. We had a simulator from Porsche there. And I thought, well, who's going to build this? Are these simulators, if they are just branded with a brand, with the Porsche brand in this way, are they all done by themselves, or are they going to give you, okay, come on, here's the money, build something?
Yeah, actually the process is that Porsche, Volkswagen, Audi, whoever, they do a competition, something like this, and people or brands can basically send in their documents, and then they, one brand gets selected, and the brand which is building the Porsche simulators is actually a German brand, which is very specialized on this. And they have built the Porsche simulators.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's always like an order, and of course the brands, they really need to evaluate, hey, do I want to have some very demanding and high cost simulators, or do I want to have something lower cost but more simulators? And really, it's really a decision. In the end, it's always important that people, where they're using those simulators, that those people have fun. And that's why I'm here. I tried to explain you what's important. I mean, also, sports simulators are very good. Like the Ren Sports Simulator, I like it, really great. But for us, our simulator is a bit more luxury added. So there's some small differences.
Probably a tiny little bit a stupid question. I would take a black sack, I will peg it on the head of Frank Bieler, and I will take him on the hand and bring him to something like a car and let him sit into one of your simulators. Would he recognize that he's not inside a car, otherwise in a simulator? Are the simulators
Of course not. He would not recognize it.
He would not?
No, sure.
Due to Frank Bieler or due to another?
I don't know. Like I know Frank Bieler from some Gran Turismo races, like I think 24-hour races on LAN.
Yeah.
And he's a big fan of simulators. He's driving on his own, also with, I think maybe with SCCO. Yeah, but no, of course he would recognize it for sure, because the movement, the G-forces, which is always the biggest point in this discussion, also with our customers, it's like something you can't make
you can't
real.
Build it.
Yeah, you can't build it, or just with very high costs. Also, not the chassis simulators in the Formula One teams, for example. I've driven one, and in the end, the small simulators are enough to have this driving fun. People just need to accept it, that there's some kind of limit of reality. And it's like very individual. Some racing drivers like motion simulators, but many say static simulators are enough, because the real car also just moves like this. Not like this. It's a good show. It was super nice, and also our customers are asking us about it, and we're thinking about it. But it's not something, we want to say it's a holy grail.
Yeah,
We can also not say the holy grail is static simulators.
Yeah,
So
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to take a look on the 3D glasses, which you have on the virtual reality glasses, this together with a really good racing fuel simulator would probably really bring the people into a real life, which is not real, which is virtual.
This is true, and I also celebrate this, and many customers who are very easygoing with the eyes, they also like it. But we have a higher rate of people getting sick. So VR glasses and triple screens are actually problem for people, demanding customers who are 40 years plus. So they always try to go, we're going more on single screen. Yeah, it's very individual. You need to try out.
Philipp Schallenberg, ladies and gentlemen, a big applause for the guy from RacingFuel. Philipp Schallenberg.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for the presentation.